What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Blood on the Razor Wire TV, where we bring it to you real and we bring it to you raw. Got a guy on today that I spent some time with at USP Lee. He's got a hell of a story, man. Turned his life around. He's outside doing big things. But you know what? He can tell his story better than I can. Tell the people who you are, brother, and talk a little bit about you.
How y'all doing today? My name is Muhammad. I go by Moses. I'm out of Denver, Colorado. I reside in Canton, Ohio. Started off gang banging as a youth. My mother was a gang member, and somehow was a product of my environment. Just like a lot of people's story. Started out rough, stealing cars, doing the typical dumb stuff that we did in the 90s. Growing up in the 90s, gang banging in Denver, kind of wild. A lot of people from California migrated to Denver, and the gang scene just went up high. Everybody was gang banging. So I got sent to a program, a youth program. It's called Rite of Passage, and they switched my whole life around. That's how I knew I was a real smart dude. I was just around the wild people. And the only mistake about the program is after I completed the program, I accomplished a lot of stuff. I even was the student body president of the whole program for about a year and a half. But when I got released from the program, they sent me right back to where all my problems started. Aftercare plan was garbage, basically.
I want to stop you. Moses, I want to stop you for a second, all right? So I want to ask you a couple questions about the gang stuff, because you said your mother was a gang member. What gang? What gang are we talking about?
My mother, she was from the Sons of Silence. It's a motorcycle club out of Colorado Springs. And so she's white, and my dad's from Pakistan. And so her gang was racist, and I grew up the first 8 years with her and her people, and me and my twin brother took it away because a couple of people got killed in front of us, and instead of going in the system, we went back with our father, but our father was too busy working because he came from a different country, and he's trying to support 7 money home. He's always working like foreigners have to do when they come to the country. So by the time we moved with our father, it was already too late. Menace to Society, Boys in the Hood, Juice, all the movies you've seen back then, that's what we wanted to be. That was the fascination. You know, what was the car that the New Jersey Drive? So we started stealing cars. Now we got 40 of us stealing cars. Every day we're all stealing 10, 15 cars. So do the math in 6 months. And we terrorized that city, and I'm sure they still are stealing cars real bad out there in Denver. But my dad was too busy to really teach. He would say because he was working. So our friends was our family. Them was our peers. Them were the people we thought we loved and was attached. Not saying they wasn't in the long run, but majority of them wasn't. So that's one of the things I want to stress to the youth for real is, just because you grew up with somebody, you're 12 to 15 years old, you guys are hanging out every day, and y'all gang, where y'all gonna be 20 years from now? You think he's really gonna put his life on the line for you? You know what I'm saying? People think that when they're young, but reality sets in. Before they're 25 years old, they're married or locked up or dead, and you gotta live your life on your own. So these little dudes is being trained depend on their gang, and their gangs depend on each other, but none of them's teaching each other nothing. No one's doing the math. Nobody's helping little youngsters out. So that's what I'm on right now, is trying to help these youngsters out. I'm a tattoo artist, and as I tattoo on the youth and the younger youth, you know, I tattoo from ages 16 on up, but I target from about maybe 16 to 25, and I give good vibes. You know, people or I get bad vibes. I could read people like a book from doing so long, locked up. I've done 15 years of my life locked up. So if I get vibes that the homies need to talk to, I talk to them. And sometimes you can't teach the homie, don't touch the stove with fire. It's hot. You know what I'm saying? Because as soon as you leave, they're going to go touch that stove, you know? But if you show them the stove is hot, and then you grab their arm and tell them, look, man, I'm about to show them how hot it is. It's kind of like terrorizing them. So it puts it in their head, oh, no, that's hot. And so they're not going to touch it no more. And it's sad that you got to teach some of the youth like this, but it's better to teach some of the youth like this than them to be in the box or in the cage for the rest of their life.
What was gangbanging like in Colorado growing up, man?
All right, so it was crazy, man. It was crazy. Like I said, a lot of people in California migrated to Denver, Colorado. I was out in Aurora. My twin brother was on the east side of Denver, so he was with the Trey Crips. And growing up, where I was at, the Southern was like the Raymond Crips. You had the Compton Crip Riders, and you had the Hoovers. You know what I'm saying? And there was West Side Crips, and then you along with the East Side Crips. So I see more Crip on Crip violent than I see Crips on blood violent. You know what I mean? And that's what a lot of people, when I get to the eastern part of the United States, they understand. So it's different from the eastern part to the western parts. Eastern parts, the homie one of the under the 6-point star, and on the West Coast there ain't no star. That's GD folks and Vice Lord stuff. So a lot of people got stuff confused. But you were at Lee County when the blood got into it, or the power between West Coast and the East Coast, and what went down in there. So
let me ask you this, right? You end up going to federal prison. How old are you at the time you go to federal prison?
All right, so I was 24 years old, and I went to federal prison for a gun charge. I was on the run on a state parole violation. I was a reporter, and the parole officers surrounded the crib. There's about 10 people in the crib. Someone throws the gun out the window. They raided the house. I ran because I got warrants. They put the gun out of me. Gun wasn't even mine. Said it was a dark-skinned black male that threw a gun out the upstairs window. So I thought, I'm beating this case. And this is another thing I want to do, youngsters, to realize that when you catch a federal case, there ain't no such thing as federal lawyer money. You know what I'm saying? You got a federal lawyer money, but it's not really going to help you out like these dudes be standing, I got lawyer money, this and that. All right, well, what are you going to do with the feds pick you up? You know what I'm saying? Because they don't care about your money. It's a whole different ballgame when the feds come. So I'm 24 years old. They bump out the record all the way up. They hands me up and they send me to a USP, but I don't know what a USP is. So when I get off the airplane in Oklahoma, it's a federal facility for your guests that don't know. And the airplane actually lands in the prison, and when you get off, they give you a piece of paper saying where you're going. So I get the piece of paper and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, USP Lee. And I pay attention to people when I just see heads turning like, yo, man, you're going to USP? I'm like, yeah, what's that? The other homie's like, man, you don't want to go there. It's rocky and roll. I'm like, man, what do you mean by that? He's like, bodies is being rocked and stretchers is being rolled, and the police don't care the inmates run that joint. So I'm like, oh, yeah? I'm like, well, I got nothing to worry about because I ain't never been no snitch. I've always been thorough for the homies up to cases with the state penitentiary. I was always the smartest dude, but I never did one against any couples. You know what I mean?
I hear you. So let me ask you this. You end up going to USP Lee. When you get there, you're a young man, 24 years old. What's your sentence?
All right, so I give you 70 months for a gun charge, right? And I take the 70 months. I get the USP Lee. Now, this is what threw me off. When I get there, the warden is sitting there with the SSI officers and with that. I've been to state prison 4 times. I ain't never had a warden even care to talk to the inmates when you get there. This warden, O'Brien, sitting there, and he told me, look, man, is your paperwork hot? I'm like, no, I didn't know what hot meant at the time. In the feds, that means you're a snitch. And I'm like, nah, I never testified, took stand on nobody. He's like, well, if they find out, they'll kill you. He said, I got 2 wolves on his yard. And he had a pair of boots, leather boots, steak boots, and he had a big ass knife. And he said, I got 2 wolves. He said, don't carry no knives in my yard. And he gave me that look like, everybody got a knife though, man. And he said, if you have to stop somebody out, get your boots, shoes, or shoes. I want no man killed. And he said, have a good day. So this is where it got crazy though, because my dad's from Pakistan, my mom's white. I grew up gangbanging Hoover. Now they're like, all right, I'm Muslim. And in the fair, that's a whole different gang. Even though it ain't a gang, they consider it a gang. You know what I'm saying? Just like the places, they say it's a mob gang, but it's a bigger gang. You know what I'm saying? So I get there, they put me in a cell with somebody that is from Middle Eastern. Like one of my uncles the only people I never really got along with was my own people because I was an outcast. You know, I gang banged, I smoked weed, I chased girls, you know. I didn't want to study book and learn how to be a scholar of the Quran, you know. So what I did there, they put me in a cell with somebody that's Muslim. And so when I come out the cell in the morning, that night, when I'm in the cell with the Muslim guy, Jabbar, which he ended up going on, he ended up being a really good dude. Jabbar was begging me, please don't go on gang time, please don't go on gang time. They kill each other, they kill each other. So I'm like, well, look, man, you know, all my life I've been a gangster, you know what I'm saying? And this is when my people need me well. This is where I gotta be, you know. And so we went to sleep. Well, when the doors cracked open in the morning, I walked out the door and I was surrounded by the Norteños because I look Mexican and they're probably thought, let's make sure this fool ain't no Serrano, you know what I'm saying? So they surround me and they ask me where I'm from. So I'm thinking like the state penitentiary, you know, I'm about to just go out and get down with these cats whether I get jumped or not. I tell them, man, I bang Hoover, man, what's up? And then all of a sudden, I just see Muslims coming out everywhere, big Muslims. You know what I'm saying? What's the problem? What's the problem? And then the Norteños, they back down. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, we just making sure he was this Sobrano, you know what I'm saying? It's a net. And so then the Muslims pull me to the side, and they're like, look, man, don't even say nothing about being in the gang. No, this ain't what you want to do. You only got 5 years of homie, you're tripping. I'm like, nah, what a gang talk, you know? That's how dumb I was, you know, like I've been a carrier 5 years in the USP, and 85% of these people got life and they're looking to hurt somebody. They're like, who do we stab next? You know, I want to go on this mission, and I've never seen this many people. So the first week I was there, I think I seen about 7 people get stabbed. There were no fist fights. Fired the loud board out 2-3 times a day, and all of them stabbing. And it's not people stabbing each other, whites and blacks and Mexicans or whites and blacks. It's your own kind. You know, your own people will stab you if you're in the wrong, if you're doing something out the way, if you're gambling too much, running up a debt. One of the worst things I've seen is a Mexican go and steal some staff fellow, somebody from Carolina sell and go out to the yard to get some heroin. Time he came back in that unit, the Carolina only's already touched the Mexicans, and man, that dude got stabbed so hard you could hear the metal hitting the concrete through his body.
Let me ask you this. So you're running gang time, Crip, right?
No, so look, what happened was the homie Black Lope was there and he was like, look, man, we could use you for something else. The homies is getting killed left and right. We want you to go be with the Muslims, but we're going to have you where you help us out with paperwork, or only just try to become Muslims that's hot and stuff like that, right? So then I talked to the Sharif of the Muslims and the Imam at the time. He was from Florida, and I ended up moving into the Sharif cell of the Muslim community. And I wasn't out of gang time, I was with the Muslims, but I was always out there with the Crip homies. So I was kind of playing both sides of the fence because I was young and I didn't care. I was getting drugs, smoking weed. Because the police didn't care if you got drunk or smoked weed. You know what I'm saying? It was the inmates. So then I get into it with the Muslims. You can't be here doing this, drinking and smoking weed. You know, you got to conduct yourself a certain way. So I get into it with them like, look, you know, my people from the Middle East, I always been Muslim, but I didn't come here to be no religious nut. You know what I mean? That's not what I'm here for. I'm not changing my ways. You know what I'm saying? I'm living life, and others came in, you know what I'm saying? And they wanted me to go. And usually when they tell you got to get out the yard, you got to get out the yard. Well, the only thing I'm going to say that saved me is, you know, usually when you get to USP or something, you don't know though, but I had Crip on me from Colorado, and my main man out here from Ohio, he was the second in command of the Moore Science Temple. And there was a powerful dude like Kulza and made a lot and stuff like that. So they wasn't gonna let nothing happen to me. So they had the type of bush boogie, you know what I'm saying? Everyone put together. I started studying more. The Army wanted me to study more, you know what I'm saying? And there was a lot of stuff I did that I started getting it on track. It wasn't like the state penitentiary where people were stealing this and that. I actually had good Crip homies there, and I had good Muslim homies. You know what I'm saying? The overall homies there, I was 100% backing me up, you know what I'm saying? And so, with that much people support me on both sides, usually people don't get to do that. The Muslims let me hold the pot, you know, when you go to church and you put the money in the pot, you know what I'm saying? Out everywhere else, the compound, I had to be responsible. And the Muslims tricked me and they made me the emir of the unit. Just because if someone else had a problem, I would have to know how to issue the consequences. And so therefore it kind of tricked me into the religion a little bit more, you know what I'm saying, to studying and maybe more of a valuable person.
So let me ask you this, right? You're talking about the zakat box. They put their charity in there, you give it to the brothers, but you're also calling the shots. So in prison, people might not understand is that if some of these brothers break the Sharia or their law, then they end up getting disciplined. It could be lashes, could be people jumping on them, could be anything, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I didn't see nobody getting no lashes at Lee County, but I heard in Big Sandy and Pola and some of the ones that was a little bit worse in Lee County that some of them brothers giving out lashes. You know, and so like, I know my job was, you know, my celly was there at Sharif. So I sold candy, you know, I walked around, sold candy, I drew cards. I didn't do my tattooing there because too many good men could have got hurt over some tattooing. So I sold candy, but what I did is I communicated with everybody except for the racist white people because I couldn't really go in their cells or nothing like that. But Mexicans, I was born everywhere, you know what I mean? And what I did is I communicated in my network thing. At the same time, if there was a problem with a Muslim, I could bring it to my celly that was the head of Sharif, and we could talk it out. We could figure out how to do consequences not violent. You know what I mean? Because there was so much violent going on in that place that we were trying to come up with better solutions because us running that prison ourselves wasn't making it.
Let me ask you this. I don't think you were there when a couple of your homies went to send another one of your homies up top where they wanted him off the yard. Dude swings the knife and dude moves out of the way and he hits his old partner.
Oh, yeah, so look, I was there. That was the same day that I got into it with the Muslims, right? And so when I seen him tell that story, I was like, dang, he's talking about a story that I could have been involved in, you know what I'm saying? Like, one of my man Hoover homies that was involved in that. You know what I'm saying? They locked him up because he went down the unit when little cuz accidentally got stabbed in the head. He got stabbed with the ice pick, and the police, when they ran in the unit, they didn't know that he had got stabbed, and they cuffed him up and took him down where he was in jail bleeding, and he ended up dying. But the mom he kidnapped, you know, from Oklahoma, they locked him up behind that. And I've never seen him again. I don't even know how to find dude, so maybe you can help me find dude. I'm saying he was actually a good dude, and like some of the homies that were doing bad stuff, it wasn't because they wanted to do bad stuff, is they had to do it. You know, there was little homies getting off the bus and said there was Crip that was 19, 20 years old, and the next time the situation happened, you got to rotate. You got to go stab that dude up. You're going to have to stab a couple of people, little homie. So
let's talk about that. Let's talk about that incident for a minute, right? You got a guy that he's a Crip, saying he's a Crip. Whenever there's an issue, they tell him, yo, look, man, you got to go up top, right? Going up top means you got to go to protective custody. We don't want you here. So that's like me and you. We're going on the mission. I swing the knife at the dude we're trying to send up top, and I stab you in the head on accident, right? I think I said the neck, but it was, what was it, in his temple?
Yeah, his temple.
Hit him in the temple, and he dies at USP Lee. He wasn't even the intended victim, right?
No, it was. It was three homies that ran up on a Break Street Watch homie that was telling over a bank robbery. You know, his paperwork came back that he was hot. When the paperwork comes back that you're a snitch, you ain't getting beat up off the yard. They're stabbing you up off the yard. You know, especially if you said he was a gang member. You know what I'm saying? We don't play that. You know what I'm saying? You're up out of here. You know what I'm saying? The vicious way. You know what I'm saying? Trying to blend in and you're a snake. And so three people ran up in there and swung and he ducked and hit the other homie in the head. And It was the man. It was crazy because I was just playing basketball with little cuz the day before. You had said he was Indian, and that's why I was like, nah, he was true. His people were from Hawaii, but they moved to Utah, and they was residing in Utah. There was a lot of Samoan and a big Crip population out there in Utah.
I thought he was a Native American, so if I'm wrong, I apologize.
Yeah, no,
Let me say this, right? So that people can understand, man. You could be sent on a mission and kill your friend that you didn't mean to kill, and now you end up with a life sentence for your gang, right?
yeah, for sure, man. I seen older Mexican who didn't really know English that well. He had like a 14-year sentence, and he came through that metal stack. And the police said something like, "What, you don't know English?" You know what I'm saying? Was being disrespectful. And he went on his own mission. He went back to the unit, grabbed his knife, went back to that metal shack, stabbed that cop like 15 times. I don't know if you remember that. He got put on lockdown.
I do remember that. And then I remember the Pisces were fighting the cops out there on the yard right around that time. Yeah. I mean, USP Lee was a wild place.
Yeah, Halloween in 2009. I remember I walked out my cell they called Child. I looked up at
I was out there, man, the Norteños, right?
No, when I walked out the pod, I looked up and the Mexicans was up in the TV room and they had one Mexican in there locked in, like they were guarding the door. Somebody was getting messed up. So I just kept walking. We got to the chow line, the deuces went off, and the Mexican that was getting messed up, they was walking in the back. He was a Paisa, as a matter of fact. And when they were walking into the hall, he yelled something on the yard in Spanish. And within 10 minutes, the deuces went out everywhere. The y'all,
I remember.
Every unit in that, all 12 units almost went off. Police saying, you know which way to run.
I remember that. Hey, listen, let's talk about this. You're a Crip, you're white and Pakistani. Is there any pushback from some of the black homies? Are they like, man, dude's a Crip, man?
No, so look, most of the pushbacks were because I was Muslim. You know what I mean? And so, like, even when I was in the state penitentiary, you know, I got into it with a couple of homies that came from the Bayville. Like, you can't be Muslim and Baton Hoover, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, looking at them, and they got a Holy Bible. And so I'm like, well, you got a Holy Bible, and I got a Holy Quran. I bet with the flag at the flag, you run before I would. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, dude, don't tell me nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I always kind of stood how I had to stand, you know what I'm saying, whether the homies like it or not, because if you think about it, the Crip homies don't have a direct structure. We wasn't like the GD folks from the vice board that had laws, you know what I'm saying, man, like that. The homies, you know what I'm saying, they have certain laws that we live by, like street codes and stuff like that, but there's nothing in the book where we got to do this and we got to do this and we got to do this in step one and step two. Nah, when they have that type of structure coming in.
I know you talked a little bit about your homie, Mike Moak. I was with him in Big Sandy when they actually massacred one of your dudes. I also did a story where he had sent some dudes to jump on Spivey. Do you remember White Boy Spivey?
No, I never met White Boy Spivey, but I heard about him.
So, you know, I was there when he sent them on that mission, and, you know, Mike Loke, I mean, how big is that dude, man?
Mike Loke's pretty big, man, you know, and I just got word from Mike Loke last night, called him, he's coming over this year. What we want to do is, we want to start a youth program, you know, let him get on his feet a little bit. I'm sure he's already on his feet, you know, with as much respect that man gets. You know, I'm sure things will be just happening to him if he wants it. So I'm trying to talk to the homies that's coming home this year. I got three good brothers coming home, Muslim brothers, and I got Mike Lowe coming home this year. And they all had a long time, and they went to the law library, and they studied, and they got time back on their cases. And my thing is, I want them to move slow, because by me being in prison 6 times, every time I got out, I always try to catch up where I left off and ended up right back. So this time when I came home, I hit the reset button. I noticed that the always didn't come around unless I wanted to sell drugs with them or make money with them and stuff. So I kind of kept most of the homies off. I started doing a lot of tattooing, and I started preaching and telling the little homie where not to self-destruct, how not to be a dumb dude. You know what I mean? I was there, and I told them, no matter what, there's always going to be a struggle. So you got to learn how to endure it. Even if we won $1 million tomorrow, you're going to have struggles. It's just going to be a different type of struggle.
How'd you feel when you found out your own boy died, man? The Crip homie.
Yeah, it was sad, man. It made me really not like snitches even more, for real, you know what I'm saying? And then it affected me a lot about how I looked at other homies and stuff. Like I said, you know, you could be not doing nothing wrong at all and be in the unit minding your own business. I could be sitting there watching TV with a little candy bag, minding my own business. You know, I sold cards and stuff. And if you see 3-year-old homies, this could be your own main people. You come in that A unit and you know they belong in the F unit. You start thinking like, did they hear from me? What did I, you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, let me think. And man, that's crazy because I didn't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I should have to think, what did I do? But that thought comes across your mind after you see so many people get butchered. Them places is like a slaughterhouse to real. It's like Whitey Bulger, they stay in there, you got slaughtered. Washington Post area Shane got there. USP is a slaughterhouse. They like the state penitentiaries. Only a couple state penitentiaries is like how the USPs is.
What's one of the worst things you ever seen in there, bro?
Well, I've seen a lot of stuff, man. I've seen a lot of people get stabbed in front of me. I've seen people stab people up and be walking the yard 2 or 3 days later because the person they stabbed was wrong and they were right to stab somebody and the police let them back out. But one of the most messed up situations I was in is I had an older head dude that just did 30 years and he was Muslim. We was getting ready to go home. And I had a younger brother that just got 30 years that was a Muslim. And they were both worked out like opposites. They were both strong as opposites. And they got into it about some little commissary. Like, and now this wasn't even at USP. This was at Gilmore, the medium, FCI. And they both grabbed their knives. I took the little youngster up to my cell and I talked to him about 20 minutes. I told him, look, man, it ain't worked, it this and that. He thought he had a point to prove up from DC slam. Got pushed, you know what I'm saying? The homies is gonna think I'm weak if I don't push. And whereas I talk him all the way down. So then I'm like, I'm gonna go talk to him all the way down. When I come out the cell, the homie got his gloves on and he said, little youngster, come up. Little youngster looked at me like, I gotta do what I gotta do. He went down there and he stabbed my other brother in the head. Now, 2 weeks from going home, and I'm trying to get involved to try to break it up. And when he stabbed my other dude in the head, that sound that he made, you wouldn't think a human being would make that type of sound, man. And so, like, that right there, it messed me up more than all the other stabbings. I've seen people get killed and all that, probably because both of them was people I prayed next to. And so that affected me more than anything, I think, out of what I've seen. You know what I'm saying? Now, I say it, seen people get stabbed or the Mexican got stabbed with the knife through his stomach. And you could hear the metal hit the knife hit the concrete. And the Mexican made a sound that, like, same thing, no human being would think would make that type of sound there.
You've been home 7 years now, right?
7 years yesterday.
7 years yesterday. So let me ask you this. You know, the stuff that you've seen, does it still bother you, man?
No, I'm not gonna say it still bothers me to effect, because after a while you start blanking stuff out in the life that I lived, like my mom in her game, man. First time I seen someone get killed, I was 8. So like I didn't start seeing people be killed when I was in prison. I've caught attempted murder charges and there's a lot of victims in my case that I would want to touch up and tell them that I feel sorry that I done this to them. You know what I'm saying? I was a kid. I didn't know how to think. I wasn't conscious. Like, I was what you call a product of the environment, murdered adult. So we murdered and killed all the time. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't care. Like, when we got in the car looking to go shoot somebody, we wasn't looking for a white guy walking down the street with a tuxedo. We was looking for someone that was dressed just like me, wear red or blue, because I was from Hoover. So, you know, Hoovers, we didn't get a lot with Crips or Bloods. So we wore hearts. We wear hearts. So, like, that's sad that we get in the car and go look for somebody that looks like me. You know what I mean? Like, killing my own self. if you think about it, how smart was that?
Let me ask you about that. Young kids just go out and be like, yo, man, we're about to pick someone today. You don't even know the person. Just because of what they're wearing or who they're affiliated with, you're going to take their life?
Yeah, and that's how it was. Like I said, growing up in the 90s in Denver, when everyone from California was coming to Denver, we were stealing cars and we was doing proofs. You didn't even have to be wearing the wild color. You could just be walking down the street. You know what I'm saying? We were jumping out, beating you up, checking your pockets, you know what I'm saying? And it's just sad how we weren't raised. So if we weren't taught, normally dad was too busy working. Mom was alcoholic, That's why I always tell people, with the youth, whether your mom and dad locked up, dad on drugs, or they work too much, if you're being neglected and they're not communicating with you, you know what I'm saying? You go and find it through your peers, and they're 13 and 14 years old. What do you think they're going to teach you? How smart do you think they are?
Well, listen, man, before we get ready to go, man, why don't you plug the tattoo shop that you're working at and talk a little bit about whatever you want to say.
All right, so look, I work at I could have already had my own tattoo shop because it's easy to put in lines and brands and stuff like that and manipulate a couple things to get what I need to get. But I'm in the city, Canton, Ohio, and the population is 70,000. And I know the whole city, I can't even go to Walmart and people, Moses, leave. And so that's good, but the bad thing is just because I get along with everyone, don't mean I get along with everyone. So if I had a tattoo shop and my daughter's older brother was there and someone from the other side that I got watched grow up too, they want to kill each other, but they both love me. So I'm doing the same thing out here, trying to teach the little homies and bring them together. You know what I'm saying? But why are y'all killing each other? For what? How smart. So I just work out my house for now. Like I said, I want to eventually start a youth program, like in Islam, tattooing is haram. Allah curses the picture maker. So I feel like I have better blessings. I'll make more money. If I go around the United States and just talk to the youth about self-destruction and teaching the youth counselors how to deal with the youth too.
Well, I hope that you end up doing that stuff, man. Listen, I appreciate you coming on, man. I'm going to post up some of your work off Facebook. I think you do some good work. And, you've seen some stuff. You've been through some things. And I want people to realize that, someone can tell you, you're like, yo, you're 19 years old. I'm the shop caller. Dude, dude's hot. He's got to go. Go style. You go down there. You only got to, I hate to say it like this, but you only got 15 years. You stabbed the wrong dude, and now you got a life sentence. That's possible. And I want people to be thinking,
if you don't stab him, guess what? You're going to get walked to sleep too. You know what I'm saying? Because you say that you wanted to rotate, and now you're not rotating. You know what I'm saying? It don't add up.
It's like a machine, man. It'll chew you up and spit you out, right, Moses?
Yeah, it's a machine, man, and you got to be able to think. I call it the invisible web, man. It's an invisible web that a lot of us don't see until it's too late. And so this time I came home, I hit the reset button. And I told the little homies, you got to work slow. So instead of me jumping out there and doing everything fast, I'm doing what I teach them to do. I'm moving real slow. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a little too slow. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I feel like it's going to benefit everybody if I move slow. And I'm a thinker for everyone around me. I get everyone to be more conscious.
Well, listen, man, that's what's up. Again, man, I appreciate you coming on. Tell people, man, hit that like, subscribe button, share the video. I think there's something to learn here. With respect, Blood on the Razor Wire TV. Until tomorrow, we're out.